his mentality every single day. If I could tell our rookies or our young guys one thing, I say, just watch Darren Waller. You want to know what it takes to make it in this league? Just watch that man go about his business.
Whoever watches this game is going to see, everything about Darren Waller that we know of him to be. He's one of the best, not only one of the best players in the NFL, he's one of the best humans in the NFL. I love that man. He's a great guy, great player, and I'm glad to be his quarterback. I'm honored.
The Las Vegas Raiders just got even more dangerous. The Las Vegas Raiders have just put the entire NFL on notice. The truth about the plans of a team is always in the details, always in the financials. And what the Raiders have done this offseason just proves what their intentions are and just proves what the expectations are inside the building. 70% of my audience is not subscribed. We are trying to get to 26,000 subscribers. Subscribe right now and let me know in the comments if you have subscribed. Let's do it. In 2018, under John Gruden, we knew what the expectations were. We knew the Raiders traded away Khalil Mack and then eventually traded away Amari Cooper, setting the expectation that the Raiders were planning on rebuilding that year in 2018, planning on tanking and hoping to build assets for the future. And building assets they did. They acquired great players like Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, Max Crosby, Colton Miller, and the biggest player they acquired and maybe one of the best free agent signings in Raiders history is none other than Darren Waller. In 2019, only a few weeks into this season, Darren Waller was already balling out. The only people who knew this guy was set to break out were those on the practice field with the Oakland Raiders in 2019.
Who's the most underrated player in your opinion on the Raiders? Someone that we really got to look at.
Darren Waller.
The Raiders would decide to lock in Darren Waller with a new contract that year valued at roughly $7 million a year. But he would continue to break out. He would continue to ball out in 2020 when he would go on to break Tim Brown's single season reception record. It was clear after 2020 that Darren Waller had already put up 2 years of excellence and a new deal would need to be done soon. And in 2021, Darren Waller got off to another fast start, especially in the Baltimore Ravens game. Darren Waller was such a focal point in the game plan that Gruden was even criticized for targeting him too much.
Your reaction to that?
We threw it 60 times probably, and if you threw it 60 times, you'd probably target him 29 times. So he's the best player I've ever coached. So I'm going to continue to look for him. And sorry about that, Vic, but he's a hell of a player. He deserves some good looks.
And perhaps Darren Waller would have gone on to have another great season, but it was in the Dallas Cowboys game when we saw the injury happen, and Darren Waller was not able to play in another game in the regular season until the very last one against the LA Chargers. And in the final 2 games he played against the Chargers and the Bengals, he had a good game, but not fantastic. He only picked up roughly 98 yards between the 2 last games, and it left fans upset. Fans were upset about the injury. Fans thought maybe he was overplaying the injury because the Raiders are going through some dark times while Darren Waller was injured, and his injury was an IT ban. Some people even argued that he should have been back a little sooner from something like an IT ban. Flash forward to the Raiders in the offseason, getting Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. People often wondered, what is the future with Darren Waller, especially given the fact that the Raiders gave out fat contracts to Davante Adams, and also there were some rumors and speculation that Darren Waller was originally part of the Davante Adams trade, and only a technicality according to league rules prevented him from getting sent over to Green Bay.
That the Packers and the Raiders had submitted this to the league on Monday. It got shot down, and the Packers came back with the 2nd round pick in its stead on, I think the deal got done on that Thursday.
The question always remained, how would the Raiders be able to afford paying Darren Waller with giving out all this other money to several different players? And some Raiders fans, because of the disappointment in just this last season in 2021, and just given the fact that Darren Waller is under contract for 2 remaining years, some fans just wanted to see him go, and some fans even went as far as to say they would rather have Foster Moreau on the team than Darren Waller. Frustration continued to brood with the fan base when Darren Waller started missing time at training camp in the month of August. He actually only attended 1 practice and was primarily at Aces games watching watching Aces basketball even while the Raiders were playing their preseason matchup. Darren Waller would go on to fire his agent at Clutch Sports, trying to get a new deal done with the Raiders this year during preseason, and it started to make fans concerned, wondering, hey, what is the point in firing your agent? Does this guy want the bag? Is this guy demanding to get traded if he doesn't get the bag? But the Raiders and Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler know how special Darren Waller is, and they weren't going to let this guy go. And that is why the Raiders and Darren Waller have agreed to a new 3-year extension worth up to $51 million in new money. So Darren Waller will end up being paid roughly $13 million a year, and that puts him as the 6th highest paid tight end in the NFL. Originally, some people thought maybe Darren Waller would become the highest paid tight end in the NFL, but this is a good compromise for the Raiders and Darren Waller. We know the Raiders can also get out of this contract in 3 years, so by the time Darren Waller is 33 years old, the Raiders can make a decision to establish a new contract or release him or trade him away with no huge dead money cap hit. So as it's reported by Adam Schefter of ESPN, these next 3 years seem to be guaranteed for Darren Waller, meaning that he likely has about $39 million in guarantees prior to this extension. Darren Waller was going to go out there on the field making $6.8 million in cap hit with 0 guarantees, meaning if the dude was injured, he was going to be pretty much screwed in that situation. But thankfully, Darren Waller has his security, and Darren Waller even went as far as to wear his Sprouts t-shirt when signing this new contract, because when he was in and out of rehab, kicked out of the NFL, he actually spent some time working at Sprouts. So to all those Sprouts employees out there, hey, maybe you could end up getting almost $40 million one day. So now the Raiders dynasty is set. You have Davante Adams locked in for sure for the next 3 years, Hunter Renfrow locked in for sure for the next 2 years, Derek Carr potentially locked in for the next 3 years, Max Crosby locked in for the next 3 years, along with Chandler Jones, and now Darren Waller. So the question that remains for the Raiders tight end position is what's going to happen to Foster Moreau? We know Foster Moreau is a highly touted tight end, 4th round pick out of LSU, and now that Darren Waller is locked into the future, can the Raiders afford both Darren Waller and Foster Moreau? That's going to be a decision that will have to be made this upcoming offseason. But for now, the Raiders have a core in place and some of the best weapons we've seen the Raiders have, and honestly, over the past 20 years. And when you look at the weapons around the AFC West and around the whole entire NFL, it does not get much better on the offensive side of the ball than Davante Adams, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. I really do not know how you can possibly top that in terms of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And this is something that other teams are going to have to deal with for the next 3 years. So the Raiders' future is bright. Like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.